Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies.
Welcome on into The Point with Kristen Burt. We are so excited you are joining us this week. As I always like to let you guys know, a little bit of transparency. I am in Vienna while you are watching this, so this is a pre-taped episode. We wanted to make sure we did not skip a week because we've got a great guest for you today. Someone who was a friend of the show and very familiar to anyone who has watched Dancing with the Stars over the last few seasons. We want to welcome back Britt Stewart.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me back.
I know. I'm so excited. I was writing down everything I wanted to talk to you about, and you pretty much hit almost every dance show or every dance musical event, and you've been overseas. I mean, you've been everywhere.
It's been really exciting. I've had the end of 2019 was quite crazy and nonstop, and it's been an adventure.
I love this because I was one of the people when they were like, okay, we're making a little cast change and doing some different things with season 28 of Dancing with the Stars. And I thought, I'm excited to see what happens to like you and what Haley's working on and what Sharna's working on, what Artem's working on, because even though it's scary, sometimes all of the door that's shut opens 20 new doors. And that's really your situation, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, I feel very grateful to have had the end of the last year the way that it was. I mean, it was definitely a shock and obviously a disappointment when I didn't get back onto Dancing with the Stars. It was a really weird feeling because it was the first time in my career and pretty much life that felt like I hadn't really met a goal. But
and that goal was?
And that goal was to be a pro.
Right.
But, you know, it doesn't diminish my time that I had at Dancing with the Stars or anything like that because I had such an amazing experience when I was there. Mm-hmm. But when I found out that I wasn't going to be back, it was like, oh my gosh. Okay, what do I do now?
What's next? And they always let you know so last minute. Was it as last minute as Sharna and Artem?
Yes.
Okay.
I think I found out... Actually, it was the same time. We all found out right at the same time.
Right before that big GMA announcement. Yeah. And Sharna just said the basics of like, I'm worried about making sure the bills are paid. That is the number one thing you want to worry about. You know, you can always fill in things with, you know, some teaching and things like that. But you still want to be performing. You want to be choreographing.
Of course. I mean, it's this weird thing to be in when you plan a certain way and then it doesn't happen and you're like, okay, where does my career go? What am I about to do? But it, you know, interesting enough for me, it turned out to be quite, you know, a blessing. Once that door, you know, closed for the fall, it just, so many other doors ended up opening, and it's been really cool, and I've gotten to experience a lot of different things over the past few months.
So what do? You get the news. You might have a day of like eating Ben & Jerry's because you have to feel sorry for yourself,
right?
I
definitely gave myself a day. It was funny. Actually, Haley and I were talking about it, and we were like, okay, we're going through like the steps of grief, which not to like demean that by any ways. But
no, but that is human. As humans, you have to go through it.
Yes. We just allowed ourselves to feel and allowed ourselves to just, you know, really let it sink in what was happening, which is okay, because then I felt like, okay, I've dealt with it. I'm really going through it, and now I'm okay. Now I've, you know, really settled it within myself, and I can move on.
So how do you move on? Do you like call your agent and say, send me out on everything? Do you call choreographers? Where do you go from there?
Well, interesting enough is I had a couple months before, I had assisted Nick and RJ on the Little Mermaid Live audition. And they had asked me to come in for that. And then knowing that I was still contractually obligated to Dancing with the Stars, they were amazing. They were like, we know that you don't know, but at least be a part of this audition process with us. And then we'll see what happens. So when Dancing with the Stars didn't happen, I let Nick and RJ know because they're like, just let us know. Of course, we want, you know.
First phone call. Hi.
Like, so.
Texting them right then. No DWTS.
And they were just they were the most wonderful because they knew how much I wanted to be on the show. And they wrote me the sweetest message. They're like, we know you're disappointed, but we are thrilled.
But it is also nice to have that validation that it's not about your talent or anything else, because other people are like, we are happy to have you come on board.
Yeah, it was a really interesting experience because right as soon as I, found out about Dancing with the Stars, I immediately got thrown into a different project, and thrown in the best sort of way too. It just, I was there with Nick and RJ during the skeleton crew process. So I was there during the creation of it, and it was just the coolest thing. And then we ended up being in rehearsal for Little Mermaid for 4 weeks.
That was a long process.
It was a really long process. It was 4 weeks of rehearsal, and then on the 5th week we were on the Disney lot, and then rehearsed and then filmed live there, which was really cool.
How was your singing? I mean, you got to do a lot of singing, I feel like, in that show.
Yeah, I did. I mean, it was pretty cool. So for me, I was not mic'd, but we had to sing the whole time, and there was live mics
all around the set.
All around the set. And we had music rehearsals, and we had to know our lyrics and the whole thing. So, I mean, that was super fun. It's also not really that, abnormal for me because I have been a part of musicals in the past.
Yes.
So for me, singing and dancing is not that foreign, but I hadn't done it in a long time. So it was nice to
come on back to that.
Yeah, I kind of felt like I was getting back into my roots a little bit.
It's a good muscle to exercise, because I feel like that was the only live musical we had last year.
Yeah.
Actually, we had Rent early in the year.
Oh,
that's right. It was the end of January. But then I felt like everyone cooled for a little while. And all of a sudden, we just had Television Critics Association. Everyone's like, oh, live is back. It's back. It was just on ice for a few minutes.
Exactly. And this one was really cool because they went back and forth between the original film, the original animated film, and then into the live studio where we were for the musical numbers. And I thought it was really interesting and unique how they did the transitions from the live studio and then going back into the animated film, which, those transitions could have been really difficult, but I thought they did it really seamlessly, and
it was a beautiful set. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
a beautiful set, and it did really well in the ratings. So
It did.
that's always exciting to be a part of a show that a lot of people watch.
Yeah, it's interesting being a part of TV for so long. I think I'm used to doing a show and then, going on Google and being like, okay, how are the ratings? It's when you do TV, it's such a huge part of the show, and it ends up having a play in your career as well. And so I was very excited and happy that it got such good ratings and such great feedback.
And that's the thing. I don't think people realize, if you're not necessarily in the industry, why ratings are so important, because not only is ABC watching it, but all the other networks are watching it, saying, is this still a viable genre for us to do? And you want them to go, yes, this was a really big success, because other people will do it, and then you have other opportunities elsewhere.
Yeah, and then hopefully there will be more Disney Lives like that. Who knows what will be next?
Young Frankenstein is next.
Oh, is it?
Yes, ABC.
Ooh.
That is their next one. So,
That's exciting.
And NBC said they are picking something. They don't know what yet.
Okay.
I know. So things are in the works. We like this. We like this.
Very good for the dance community.
I know.
Very good.
So you have Little Mermaid Live, which is huge success. But you're also working a lot behind the scenes, doing a lot of choreography, assistant choreography. I know I saw you at So You Think You Can Dance this summer with Casey Money, and I know he said that you were a huge support for him, because this was a big deal doing his first piece.
Yeah, it was. I was so happy to be with him during that. I mean, not only have Casey and I worked together for so long, we're also really good friends. So being there with him for that piece in particular was really special. First time on So You Think You Can Dance, and then also a piece that was so close to him, and it was his story. So, and I remember being there with him through that whole process of his life and his coming out story. And Marco was the other person that helped.
That's
Casey.
like a dream team.
Oh my gosh. And it was just like, it was family. It was family working together and being there for Casey. And
it's great because Marco has been on the show in so many different capacities.
so many different ways.
He understands even just the flow of the show and how to like just reassure Casey on that. We had Sophie Pittman in here a couple weeks ago, and she said you were of great help to her in that piece.
Oh, that's nice.
Just so you know.
Oh, that's really nice.
Yeah.
She was a dream to work with. She's so sweet.
She
so
is sweet. I think she's gonna work a lot. I
think so too.
Yeah, she was. I saw her at the Capizio Ace Awards. She was working with Rudy Abreu, who, by the way, was with J-Lo this weekend and Super Bowl. And so she's working on Radiance, an embodiment with him. But I just feel like she's gonna.
She has the thing that I love about her is she's really committed to whatever she's doing. She really. Specifically in that piece, she really inserted herself into that character and into that feeling. And she was just, she made my heart like so happy because she would read Casey's letter and she would just start, every time she would start crying before we started the piece. And it was so genuine, and she wasn't doing it to...
I gotta cry to get like that feeling. Yeah, it's not that.
No, she was doing it to like really feel and put herself into Casey's story, which is so important, I feel like, in this entertainment industry, is to have that to be genuine and to be yourself and to just really, you know, be true to who you are.
Live that part. I know, because she was like, well, I'm not a mom, so I had to like find my way, you know, into that. She's just right out of high school.
She's just a little baby.
She's tiny. Yeah. I know. I always joke about her, but I'm like, you know, when I first interviewed you, you hadn't even graduated from high school. She's like, I still have prom.
Oh my God.
Like, and school show and graduation, and it was great.
Do you remember what that was like?
It was a long time ago. I'm like, I don't know. I have photos of it. It did happen.
I see photos. I'm like, oh, that's right.
Oh, that's right.
Yes, also brings back awkward years, awkward memories.
I was like the high school nerd. I like to study, and
I was so not cool.
Yeah.
I had like really no friends until I did High School Musical.
How is that possible?
I don't know. I just,
You're the sweetest. I like you a lot.
Thank you. I don't know. I was just kind of a nerd, and I'm not like, normally I'm an introvert. So I had like my two best friends, and then I would really like only talk to them. And
are you, because I am this way, and people are like, that actually exists. I'm an extroverted introvert. I think you are too.
Yes, I think I am as well. I think I've also taught myself how to take on those extrovert tendencies, because you kind of have to in this industry. But yeah, at the core, I am an introvert. I recharge by myself. If there's like too much, I'm like, okay. I tell my boyfriend, I'm like, babe, I just need 2 minutes. I'm just gonna be over here meditating. I just give me a little bit of time to be by myself. Yeah,
it's really important though to take that moment. After a show like this, I usually need about an hour to just relax and, you know, not talk to anyone. Even if my cats are noisy, we're cat moms. I know. Sometimes I'm like, shh, just quiet, everyone.
Just too much noise. Yeah.
It is. It's so funny, but it really does exist, the extroverted introvert.
Yeah, I totally believe that I am that.
Yeah, I was like, oh yeah. I'm like, I get it. I get you. Did you kind of, when everything happened last fall, and obviously you're working right away, and that's amazing. Did you also think like, I need to reset my goals, because right now, pro on Dancing with the Stars is not going to happen this season. Do you sit there and think, okay, well, I guess I'm, you know, going to do this in the meantime, Little Mermaid Live, but then you think, what am I doing after? Because a lot of great things happened even after that show.
Yeah. You know, that was such a major thing for me. It's, you know, being the first thing that I felt like I hadn't accomplished is, you know, I'm a Virgo. I'm a planner. I set my goals and I make sure that I achieve them. A little OCD, but you know, it's okay.
Embrace it.
I do embrace it. But because of that, I knew that I still wanted to be in the entertainment industry. Like, that was never a question, and I still wanted to dance. Also, you know, I've always been interested in other parts of the industry. I've always thought that Debbie Allen's career is amazing, and how she is just like, she has her hand in every single corner: dancer, actor, choreographer, director, mentor, executive producer, like, she has literally done it all. And so that's always been, you know, a major, like, whole picture goal for me. So I have to be honest, when Dancing with the Stars Pro didn't happen last fall, I just, you know, I kind of just became really present and just really opened myself to the experiences that were coming to me. And I feel like I'm still kind of in that place right now as well, just because it really has been nonstop. I don't even know if I've really had a moment to, I think honestly this is maybe my first time like sitting down and talking about the past few months.
Like, and what happened.
And what happened, and really just, you know, taking it all in and feeling it all as well. During Little Mermaid Live, I got a call from Chase Benz. And if you guys don't know Chase, he is amazing. He used to, backup dancer for Britney Spears, J-Lo. He does it all now, choreographer, creative director. He called me and he asked me to assist him on some choreography for a cruise ship. So while I was doing Little Mermaid Live, I said yes to do that. And while I was doing Little Mermaid Live, I was in the studio prepping that with him. And then, it was crazy.
I don't know if people understand, like, that is not sleeping pretty much if you're doing those two jobs.
Yeah, it was insane. We broke down my calendar, and basically I had like 8 days to spare in October, and then we prepped those days, which I'm really glad that we did, because then we ended up going to the rehearsal process so prepared.
That's good.
It was amazing. So I didn't really have time to think about what was next after Little Mermaid, because it was already there and it was going into choreography. And that really set the tone for the next few months, because I've really just been choreographing for the past few months. And now I'm like, okay, can someone put some cha-cha heels on me, or can someone put some, can I start dancing? No.
You're like, I've been like in my rehearsal, like choreographer, clothes and hat, you know, that kind of thing. Did you put any word out to Chase, like, hey, I'm available if you need something, or did he just kind of like think of you? And
he thought of me. So Shelly Margaritas, agent.
At MSA?
No, actually not anymore.
No way. She just moved?
Not anymore. She moved. She's now at Independent Artist Entertainment.
No way. Since when?
Since the new year.
Yeah. I didn't know that.
Yeah, very new.
Because I was like, what?
Yeah.
Dun. That's big deal.
Yeah, it is a huge deal.
I love this big news here on
huge
To The Point.
news.
I'm sure people like beyond in the dance industry know it, but she was at MSA for a long time, and a great presence always at the dance shows and everything else. So.
Yeah, and she's amazing too, because I do believe that she's really like the first agent that brought dance education into, like, directly into the entertainment industry. I think she kind of set that tone for agencies, which, you know, she's just brilliant and she has so much knowledge to give. But she's been trying to have Chase and I work together for actually a while now, which I didn't know, but Chase had told me during this whole process. He was like, you know, Shelly always brings up your name. He's like, I've been wanting to work with you for a really long time. And then when this came about, it just...
He's like, why don't I call Britt finally?
Yeah, and it was the right time where I was available, and, you know, the dates worked out perfectly after Little Mermaid. Like, I think it was 2 weeks later, I went to Tampa to start that rehearsal process with him at Norwegian Cruise Line Studios, creative studios.
They are beautiful studios, don't they?
They're beautiful. They're massive. It's like this huge warehouse in the middle of nowhere, Tampa, but it has all these different studios with these massive rooms that just have the ability for anything. Aerial, you know, live music. It's where all of the rehearsal processes are for cruise lines.
And I think for people that don't realize, like, for long decades, like, cruise ship entertainment was, I'd say mediocre is probably the best word. And they've really stepped up in the last, I would say, decade or so, bringing in A-level entertainment across the board. I mean, American Ballet Theater is now doing a cruise line as well.
Which is amazing.
Incredible.
It is so cool because I do think that cruise lines have had a bad rep for a very long time. A lot of dancers don't want to work on cruise ships.
That's right.
Because of the, I mean, I hate to say this, but the caliber of shows that are, you know, have been and still kind of currently on cruise ships. But a lot of lines are making it a point to bring in, you know, choreographers and production companies from New York and LA to really amp up the entertainment, which is really exciting.
Do some real technical dancing, not just like, here's a jazz square, because like that's kind of what you were getting for a long time. And now it's like, this is top-notch entertainment. So talk about the show you worked with on with Chase.
Yeah. So the show that I was associate choreographer underneath him, and we, it's really kind of cool. It was a Bond-themed show.
Oh.
Yeah, it's called,
I'm in.
It's called Diamond Run. I actually think it premieres tonight. I know.
Exciting.
On the cruise ship. And so it's Bond themed. It's all about secret agent. And it's about a like $1 billion diamond that gets stolen at the beginning of the show. It is. It's like a heist. And it was really interesting. It was new for me too, because we had a fight choreographer come in. So we had like legitimate fight scenes and fight inspired choreography, and it could not have been more different than what I've been working on.
You were working on Little
for
Mermaid
the past few years
with crabs and like little fish and little flounder. So cute. I love that though. I love that concept.
Oh, it's so cool. I haven't seen anything like it, and I think it has a ton of potential too. But I'm really proud of that show. Really proud. The process of it was insane, and the cast just really took it on. And
what do you think you learned the most from working on that? Because I think that's where it's such a new concept for you.
Oh, that's interesting. I think. I don't know. This is a really good question.
I'm making you think. I
know. This is really good. I mean,
this is like your fall therapy for you, because we're
you.
processing fall 2019 for you on air.
Yes, and I love it.
Well, we can come back to it if you think about it.
Well, I think honestly, I don't know if it was that show in general. I think it was cruise ships in general. I had never worked on a cruise ship before as a dancer or like in any aspect. And it's a whole world outside of what I've known. So I think just the whole process in general was really interesting. And also, I mean, the bottom line is it's also corporate. So it's kind of corporate theater. So you're dealing with executives and business people and, you know, and then also having to think about, you know, choreographically how it's going to work for the audience and for the demographic that's on that particular cruise ship. I mean, you're thinking about so many other things than just dance moves.
And they know, that's the thing, the cruise ship knows, or the cruise line knows, the age group that's going to be there, the economic group that's going to be there, what it looks like across the board when it comes to different ethnicities and religions. I mean, and that is unbelievable, but you have to cater to that.
Yeah, you do. This cruise ship that we were preparing, the production company I was part of prepared 3 shows for this one cruise ship, and it was a new build. So I had to go to work every day in steel-toe boots and a hard hat, and I was literally it was.
Did you have to buy steel-toe boots for the
Yes, I did.
Job?
And then this hard hat, I was like, who is this girl right now? I have no idea, but I love it.
Choreography hat. It's a hard hat.
It's a hard. Who knew?
Who knew? You're like Bob the Builder.
I was just like, I mean, I could not have drawn more attention to. I just like one of the only like females in this shipyard, you know, with my like fur winter coat and my hard hat. And so I was like, this.
It's amazing.
But what are you going to do? It's so fun.
No, what I didn't realize, and you told me this before we started the show, that a cool opportunity came out of this. See, this is where I'm like, doors open, doors open, doors open.
It did. So about a week after the rehearsal process of Diamond Run, the show that I was associate on, ended, the production company called me and they're like, well, we're doing another show. And last minute, we need a choreographer to do that show. Do you want to do it? And at this time when they called, I was already in rehearsal process for the Dancing with the Stars tour, which I was associate supervising choreographer.
Oh yeah, another
for.
job. Like, this is like the greatest story. I mean, if anyone is like, you know, something happens, like we have disappointment, but we always have to realize that.
Yeah. And I think it's mostly about just being like open to it too. It's like as hard as sometimes, I mean, this past fall, it was like a rude awakening for me. I turned 30 and it was like,
dun, dun, dun,
dun, dun. This is like,
30's great.
I mean, I love it. It's been really good, but it's been such of like, not only career lessons and experiences, it's also been life lessons too. It's like, don't let one thing slow you down. Just be present and open and just watch how things can really work in your favor, I guess. Which,
yeah, and Dancing with the Stars doesn't define you, nor does it define your talent. It gave you a whole host of opportunities.
I mean, so many opportunities. And I mean, I just like, I learned so much. I believe that it, you know, it changed the way that I am as a dancer, as a choreographer, like learning from my peers, but then also working under Mandy, which like, she is the most, like the most inspiring, like
the dream.
Like the dream to be able to, you know, be with her on a consistent basis for 3 years. And then
so
like,
jealous.
and then my peers as well too. Like the cast is so brilliant. And when you're surrounded by like people constantly trying to be creative and think of, you know, different things and cool ways of making, you know, someone that doesn't know how to dance better.
Look great.
Like look great. Like you really have to be creative when it comes to that. So yes, I'm so grateful for my time at Dancing with the Stars because I do think that it opened so many doors and that I probably wouldn't have been prepared for this fall without it. Really, I'm so grateful for it.
I always think it's so funny because it's like all these things can exist in the same space. I say this all the time. This has been my thing like over the last couple months. Like disappointment can exist with opportunity and excitement and new jobs, new horizons, whatever it is, because they're all real. And you can't, just because one thing happens doesn't make the other thing go away. It's just a part of the journey.
I think sometimes it's important to experience it.
Well, yeah, you have to have disappointments, you have to have failures in order to have the great success. And everyone that's just like, I've always had success and, you know, I've never failed. Well, when you really have that first failure, how do you cope with it? You may not have the coping skills of like, and not coming back to Dancing with the Stars isn't a failure.
No.
So that's the other thing. It's, you know, it's a disappointment.
Yeah.
Because you loved being there.
Yeah.
However,
I mean, I do have to say, to be completely honest, I think when I first found out, I felt failure. I felt it. But, you know.
Because you're a human being with feelings and thoughts and.
Yes, that's right.
And you're totally allowed.
Yeah.
Like that. But see, that's the thing. Like I don't look. You should know that. Like on the outside perspective, I don't look at it as a failure. And I said to you before the show started, everyone was bummed, and it's disappointing to not see your friends there week to week.
Yeah.
So that is valid on my side. But I also thought, I'm so excited for what's next. What was next for Sharna and Artem and you and Haley and everyone else, because I just felt like, I'm like, they're going to have the ride of their lives. And I feel a little bit like I see your future, but I kind of feel like I did because I talked to Sharna about the same thing. I'm like,
it's been cool too to see all of our different paths because they've all blossomed, but in different ways as well.
But in beautiful ways.
Yeah, yeah.
Like Artem's story, I'm
gosh.
like, I mean,
I know.
And then Sharna just, you know, because she's just a total, I love how strong she is.
Me
and she's
too.
like, I was worried, but then I was like, okay,
I know.
get to work.
I know. We're actually similar in that way that we like process and then we're like, okay, we just got to go.
Exactly.
I kind of feel like I haven't stopped, but it's good. I'm just going to keep going.
No, well, people, we want to see you out there. We want to see you working and everything. So tell us about your new show since we're I know, this is exciting.
So I choreographed my first show by myself, which was insane. It
literally by yourself because you had no assistant.
Yeah, I had no assistant, which, you know, during the whole process, I was like, I should have an assistant. I am going crazy. But it's actually very rewarding and confidence booster to know that I can do it by myself, because you never know what projects can come down the line where they're like, there's no budget for an assistant or whatever. It was nice to know that I can handle it.
Yep.
So it's basically one of the shows on the cruise ships, and it's called Bohemian Soul. And it's based off of Romanian gypsies outside on the outskirts of Paris. Yeah, and it's a love story, and we kind of created a mini musical, kind of by mistake too, but it just turned into a mini musical that premiered on Sunday. And we got really great feedback from it. The CEO of Regent Seven Seas loved it, and the audience loved it, and they see it being a success on the cruise ship, which is really exciting and kind of like pinch me a little bit.
How long are these shows? Because I think that's the other thing. You're not doing a 1.5-minute dance. You're doing a show.
No, it's 45 minutes. So originally when they first called me, I had 4 days.
To create a 45-minute
show.
But you really, I hope you like got yourself a massage or bought like a nice pair of shoes, because you deserve that.
Thank you.
Or maybe both, but you should. Both.
Yeah. I should get a new handbag.
Yeah, you should get a new handbag. You're allowed. I'm not going to, no judgment if you buy a really expensive handbag, because that is quite an accomplishment, especially for like a first big solo project with no assistant.
Yeah. It was a big thing to tackle, but I'm really proud of it. And the initial process was 4 days. 4 days in Tampa, and then I had more time in Italy. So I had about, I think, 3 more days of rehearsal in Italy, and then it was a 5-day tech process. So, I mean, honestly, the show came together in those 5 days. Wow. Being on stage with, all the elements, it really came together there. And, I mean, the cast was so awesome, too, because they were there, they were present with me, they were just open to the process, and the director and the producer, the production company, it was really a collaborative experience, and I'm so grateful that was, one of my first experiences for a solo project as well.
It's a confidence booster, I think.
Yeah.
It's like, I got this. Yeah. You have to do that to yourself, and because we love to talk ourselves out of things. I don't know why we do as human beings.
And I think it's interesting for new choreographers. I think it's sometimes really daunting, because especially choreographers like myself that have been dancing for so long, it's like I've been expressing other people's voices for 16, 17, however long years. Okay, now I'm asking people to express my voice, and this is my movement, and this is my what's happening?
What is Britt's voice? How would you describe your movement?
Oh my gosh. I think it's a lot like the way I dance. I think it's eclectic, and I think it has a little bit of everything. I think this show that I did is really cool because I was able to do a lot of my Latin training, my ballroom stuff. I was also able to do contemporary, and there was a whole rhythm section, which comes from my tap roots. And so this show was a great representation of, I think, what my voice is, because it has so many different elements. But also, I think I'm still discovering it too.
Right.
I think it's always ever changing. So, but I'm having fun discovering that.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
That's so good. I thought of you this weekend, by the way, because I was flipping through the dial. It must have been Friday or Saturday. And I'm like, oh, Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist is on again. It was on E, I think, this weekend. NBC has blasted this everywhere, which is fantastic.
And for good reason, I think, because, I'm trying not to be biased, but it's really
4
good.
episodes in, because I got episodes 1 through 4, and it's a fantastic show. In fact, I'm going out with the cast tonight.
Oh, you are?
They're doing a sing-along.
Oh, that's so fun.
Yeah, so I'm excited about that. But I think what's so great about the show is that watching the pilot, you guys shot it in San Francisco. Now it's in Vancouver.
Yeah.
But it was fun to see you and Morgan and Robert in that. You had a nice little scene on the trolley there.
I did. I know. Thanks to Mandy, of course.
The best.
She's literally the
sat down
best.
with her maybe about 3 weeks ago. So I do have an interview coming with her. It'll be an article, but I might put up the audio because it was such a good interview. And it was probably, I mean, in an article, it's going to get condensed down, but it was probably a solid 30-minute interview. I just need to listen to it, make sure we didn't like do any like off the record conversation. I don't think we did. But every time Mandy just astounds me because I'm like, I've known Mandy a long time. You've known Mandy a long time. Mandy is the same Mandy. Whether she's got 2 Emmys, whether she's got a network show, 5 network shows. She's just such an awesome human, and I think that comes through in every part of her life, including her work. Yeah. I really do. I mean, she's also, it's so amazing too. You talk to so many people that have careers in the industry, and to hear the role that she has played in their careers is amazing. This is the Mandy seat.
Yeah, I mean, and including myself, like, I feel like I would not be on Dancing with the Stars without her. Like, there's no way. She totally set up my being seen. The path. Yeah, the path for that. Yep. And you hear that with so many other people as well. So it's the same. Honestly, it's like the same 3 or 4 people that have brought everyone up, and I hear it in this chair over and over again. Yeah. Snappy Tabs. It's Mandy Moore. It's Marguerite Derricks. Yes, Marguerite. Yes. Yeah. And I've had Mandy and Marguerite in here. I have not Nappy Tabs. I'm like, they are hard to catch because I know. I mean, they're going from the Super Bowl straight into World of Dance season 4 because they're starting to tape this month. So I feel like they're always working on like a million projects at the same time too. They're great at delegating, though. They really are. Really are. I think that's part of it. That's a big part of being a creative director, creative producer, is creating an amazing team too, because they do have an amazing team underneath them. I was watching that because you watch on social media, and Britt Stewart, great example, leaving Dancing with the Stars and flourishing. I know. She was over in the Middle East, back and forth most of the fall, and then just this month, and she was there with Napoleon, and back in Miami was Tabitha and Katie Tate. Yep. Making sure J-Lo was taken care of, and then they finished up in the Middle East, and Napoleon came and Miami. Met them. I know. I know. It's that amazing. Is delegation. Like, that's good stuff. It is. It's a good. It's even a great lesson for me from afar to watch. Yeah, because I mean, you really just can't do it on your own. You really can't in life. It's like having that support system, no matter if it's career or life or whatever. It's just so important. It really is. It is. I know. And but that's the thing. I'm like, and you build, they bring people on Team Nappy Tabs. I'm like, I want to be on Team Nappy Tabs. I don't know what I would do on Team Nappy Tabs. You're like, I don't know, but I want to be there. I just want to be there. Just put that. I'll put that out to the universe. Maybe it'll happen. Yeah. I know we're in a new year, and you haven't had the chance to really wrap your brain about like what I'm doing, where you're going. But what would you love to see happen for you in 2020? Oh, man. I feel like I am just developing a bunch of skills for where I'm going to land next. And, I don't think you ever land. You always keep evolving and growing and the whole thing. But I just want to keep learning. I just want to keep experiencing, and I want to keep discovering, because I feel like since October, that's what it's been. I've had my hand in like a little bit of everything, and I just want to keep doing that. I just want to keep just like working on my craft and discovering like who I am as a creative. And that can be dance and choreography and whatever else the universe wants to bring me, because I'm just like, I just feel like I'm just so open and just willing to bring in whatever's meant for me right now. I would be remiss if I didn't ask this question, and it's kind of an answer. I'm like, I wonder how she would answer. If Dancing with the Stars called for season 29, would you be open to returning, or do you feel like you're evolving and moving beyond in a different direction? Yeah. I think I would be open to it. I do. I just yeah, I think if it came back around and I was in the right place and I was timing, there's so many things. I mean, there's so many things that come into play. But yes, if it was the right time and I was, available, and I'm definitely like my heart and soul would be open to it no matter what the situation is. And then I would just have to, figure out from there. But I don't ever want to say no.
You don't close the door, right?
I don't know. And I don't think, no, I wouldn't close the door on that. Yes, I would be very open to it. But.
And when people say that, I'm like, retiring from Dancing with the Stars, I'm like, they'll be back. Because every once in a while, there is a celebrity that's like, I have to have this pro. And people have been roped back in. I know. And they're like, okay, I'll come back.
I know. I mean, it is an interesting question because I am open to it, but then I also can't. I have to keep moving like I am. I can't have it really in the back of my mind because then it just holds me in some place where I'm might not meant to be.
Back, I think. Because they're now, especially where you've worked with the cruise lines, you don't know in 2 months they could be calling you for another show.
Yeah, you
especially
have no
where
idea.
Your show is well received.
Yeah, you have no idea. Which I mean, I like hope that happens because it was an amazing process, and I think it's. Yeah, I just hope that these new experiences keep coming. Yeah, so I mean, we will just see what happens.
Oh, I don't worry about you though. I feel like you work more than anyone in the industry. I mean, even when you were doing Dancing with the Stars, we saw you on Hit the Floor.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah. In fact, I think the last time you were here.
Oh, it was. Yeah. It was like right around there.
Right around. Right? I feel like it was either going to premiere or somewhere right around there because I feel like I just interviewed James LaRosa too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. It's not funny. It seems like a million years ago though.
Oh my gosh, it does. But that was such a fun experience.
And I want to say, by the way, I went and looked back and tried to see what date you were on. Oh, yeah. Almost to the day you were here filming in 2018.
Oh
now we're filming this a week early, and so because it'll be February 11th, but you were basically here February 4th, 2018.
Oh my!
Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy. But that happens to me a lot. There's like synchronicities and like that stuff happens to me a lot. So it's always a reminder for me that it's like right time, right place. It's where I'm meant to be.
Right here in this seat in the
right
studio.
Here in this seat, talking to you guys.
I know. I'm like, are we supposed to meet back here February 4th, 2022? Which seems
Let's
a million
years.
Let's make it happen. Wherever we are, we'll get together and have a chat and catch up and see where twists and turns your career takes.
Yeah, that seems like, oh my goodness, 2 years. There's a lot that's happened in 2 years.
A lot has happened. A lot has happened in the dance industry too.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of the amazing thing.
Yeah, it is.
But always appreciate you sharing your story. Thank you for coming back.
Thank you so much for having me. I always love being here and love chatting with you.
I know. I haven't seen you in a while, so I'm like, it's so good to see you.
Oh, it's good to see you.
Everyone
too.
was all over the place this fall. If people are not already following you on social media, what are they waiting for? Tell them where they can find you.
I am at Britt Benet on Instagram, and I'm at Britt B. Stewart on Twitter.
Have you explored TikTok yet?
I have not. Maybe I should start.
You know what I think we should do? You have 2 cats, I have 2 cats. We should do a TikTok with all the cats. We'll do like a split screen.
Yes. Okay, you guys, that might be my first TikTok. We'll see.
All right, we'll make it happen. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
All right, you guys, we want to thank you for watching To The Point. We want to thank Dance Network and Popcorn Talk, of course. For all of your dance news, check out dancenetwork.tv. We will be back next week with a live show, so come on back and join us.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.